Hello everyone, welcome back to the course on Instrumentation and Process Control. Myself, Nidhi Mehta, Assistant Professor at Chemical Engineering Department, LJIET Institute of Engineering and Technology. So, let's just start our session with topic of temperature measurement. As we have already seen in our previous sessions, why temperature measurement is quite essential for us. In this particular session, we will deal with important topic of temperature measurement, which is thermoelectric temperature measurement. This is quite important section for measuring temperature because in this session we will know and we will deal with different equipment which is based on thermoelectric measurement system, right? So let's just start our session. Before starting this, we need to understand and know some important terminologies and few effects related to thermoelectric system. So first term which we must know is thermal EMF. So what do we mean by the word thermal EMF? Whenever two dissimilar metals are connected with each other, there will be a generation of voltage, and this voltage is known as thermoelectromotive force or Seebeck voltage, right? So this is known as thermal EMF, that is whenever we connect two dissimilar metals, it will generate an voltage, right? The second term is thermocouple. So what do we mean by the word thermocouple? Thermocouple is basically made up of two dissimilar metals and which are joined together to produce thermal EMF. Thermal EMF means to produce that particular voltage. Then there is a term which is known as Seebeck effect. There are three important terms: Seebeck effect, Pellitter effect and Thomson effect, which are useful in understanding the working of thermoelectric devices, right? So let's just see what do we mean by Seebeck effect. Seebeck effect states that the current flow in the circuit when temperature in the junctions are different. It states that whenever the temperature is changing between two junctions, then there will be a flow of current inside the circuit, right? So Seebeck effect states that the current will flow whenever there is a difference in temperature between two junctions. And this flow of current is basically due to thermal EMF, the word which we have just seen right now, right? Then there is a Pellitter effect. So what do we mean by Pellitter effect? Pellitter effect states that, or it relates adsorption and evolution of heat at the junction of thermocouple, and it relates it to the current flow into the circuit. So it simply relate adsorption or evolution of heat to the flow of current in the circuit. Heat is evolved at reference junction and heat is absorbed at the measuring junction, and that heat is quite proportional to flow of current. This is Pellitter effect. Pellitter effect basically relates your heat and your junctions current. And last is Thomson effect. So Thomson effect, it basically relates EMF which is generated in single wire and the temperature difference between both the ends of wire. So Seebeck effect is for the current flow inside the junction and EMF. Pellitter effect relates your heat evolution and absorption and thermal and the amount of temperature difference which is generating your current inside the circuit, and Thomson effect basically relates single wire configuration, that is, it relates your temperature and EMF which can be generated in the single wire when it is having different in the both junctions. Now, coming to equipment, we are having pyrometers. Pyrometers are basically those devices which are used to measure temperature of moving objects or to measure the temperature of very hot objects. Those objects where we cannot go directly or do direct contact. So, for that cases we are using pyrometers. Basically, pyrometers are of two types, radiation pyrometer and optical pyrometer. But there is also one more pyrometer which is known as photoelectric pyrometer. So, we will see all three of them in this session. Now, starting first with radiation pyrometer. As the name suggests, radiation pyrometer. So, it basically uses radiation to detect temperature of the object, right? Its principle is based on Stephen-Boltzmann law, and it states that intensity of radiation energy which is emitted by the hot body or hot target varies at as fourth power of its absolute temperature. And second, in radiation pyrometer, the visible and second, in radiation pyrometer, the visible and IR energy is focused on radiation detector. That is what we are doing here. We simply want to know how it works. So, for that we are going to let's just start with the first topic, which is radiation pyrometer. So, radiation pyrometer is basically based on Stephen-Boltzmann law. What does Stephen-Boltzmann law states? It states that the intensity of radiation energy which is emitted by hot body varies as fourth power of its absolute temperature. So, using this fundamental law or using this fundamental theory, we have developed an equipment which is known as radiation pyrometer. Now, we are having non-contact temperature sensors. As you can see, this is the actual picture of radiation pyrometer. We are having non-contact temperature sensors here, which will measure the temperature from the amount of thermal electromagnetic radiation and measures the rate of energy per unit area. Coming to construction part, as you can see here, so this is the pictorial diagram or sketch diagram of radiation pyrometer. There is a lens here. After lens we do have a diaphragm. Then we are having a radiation receiving element here, this one, and a sliding hole. This is hole which is known as sliding hole. Recorder or indicator, this particular casting is for either recorder or indicator and a filter. Now, for recorder or indicator we must have some detectors. So, detector can be either thermopile, photocell, metal bolometer or thermistor. These are the devices. So, basically what happens is, lens is used to converge all the radiant energy which is falling into the pyrometer. It just converges all the energy and focuses it on the diaphragm. When it falls on the diaphragm, with the help of any of them, suppose we are talking about thermopile. So, with the help of that, using that energy is transferred into electricity, right? The energy falling into it, that heat energy is then transferred into the electrical energy, and based on that intensity of electricity generated, we can determine the temperature of our hot object. Now, coming to advantages and disadvantages or limitations of radiation pyrometer. So, the biggest advantage of using radiation pyrometer is its ability to measure high temperature. As I already discussed that, it can be used for wide range of temperature scale, right? You can simply use it from a remote distance. Second advantage is we don't need to go and do direct contact. Third advantage is fast response and speed, because it is giving you instantaneous results. High output, because it is giving us exact output or exact data of temperature, and moderate cost. It is quite reasonable. Limitations. Non-linear scale. This is the biggest limitation or drawback for radiation pyrometer, that scaling of temperature and current is non-linear. Error may be generated due to absorption of some other media or other rays which are coming from some other sources. Emissivity of target affects the measurement. This is quite obvious that how your target is emitting the power, it will be affected. More costlier and fragile than thermocouple and RTD. It requires relatively wide temperature span and error due to interleaving of media. These are the limitations of radiation pyrometer. Now, coming to the next topic or next device of pyrometer, which is optical pyrometer. So, optical pyrometer is basically based on the principle of spectral radiant intensity. So, the spectral radiant intensity of the radiated energy from hot body at a given wavelength is directly proportional to the temperature of the body. And this temperature of hot body can be measured using spectral radiant intensity. That's why it is named as optical pyrometer. So, optical pyrometer basically operate in the visible spectrum around 0.65 micron point. So, this is the figure as you can see of optical pyrometer. So, what happened is how the radiant energy is intensified. Based on that intensity, we are trying to determine the temperature of our source. So, the other two devices are same. We are having eyepiece which will be converging all those things. Now, as you can see here, how it actually works. So, in optical pyrometer, the radiations of particular wavelength from the hot body is required, right? And the telescope is basically focused on the hot target. So, this is the lens. As you can see, this is our filament. This dark one is our filament, right? Telescope is focused on the hot body. So, the image of the target is formed exactly at the filament lamp. When the object is viewed through the eyepiece, brightness or intensity of hot target is as you can see here. So, depending on the visibility of filament, the temperature is predicted or detected, right? Whether the filament is dark or it is null or it is high. Depending on that only the temperature is being sensed. Coming to advantages of optical pyrometer. So, it is quite lightweight and portable device. So, you can easily carry it and use it easily. Second advantage is good accuracy because it gives us accurate results. Coming to limitation parts, it cannot be used for measuring clean burning fuels as they do not have radiant energy which is visible in range, right? And working depend on correct matching of intensity because we are just the entire mechanism of optical pyrometer depend on visibility of filament of that bulb. So it depends on matching of intensity. Now, the third one is photoelectric pyrometer. So the photoelectric pyrometer is basically used for the measurement of rapidly changing temperatures, and the total radiation is 1 ms to 15 ms, and as you can see here, this is the lens here. The lens is connected here. So what we are doing here is lens will converge all the coming radiations from our target to the detector. Detector will just use that energy and get transferred, right? That once it is absorbing that energy, it will get excited to another level and it will generate the electricity. That's why the name is photoelectric. The energy is transferred into electricity, and the amount of energy which is radiated is transferred into amount of current which is generated. So this is directly related to current generated, and as you can see here, it will be shown here. So for that, the output signal of photoelectric radiation detector is basically proportional to number of photons which are given here, N, capital N, and it can be used using this formula of B1 T raised to N. So this is all about pyrometers. Hope whatever topic which we have covered today is clear. Thank you.